Welcome to EDIT 624, our first presentation today by our colleague Khalid Al-Suhafi, and we will share this session with everyone on YouTube with Khalid's permission. Thank you, Khalid. The platform is yours.
Thank you so much. Can I share my screen?
Yes, you may, right in the middle.
Okay. I think this is the file. Okay.
Perfect.
First of all, regarding the PD session, I have 5 documents. First, I sent an email to my director because I held the PD session were held in the job place where we mainly work in policy development. So, as a topic of algebra, if I wanted to do it in this workplace, I had to take permission first, and hopefully it will open. Can you see my screen, Doctor?
Yeah, I can see your screen and you're hitting, but not the Outlook item. That's fine. So you got the...
Not the Outlook item.
Because I
so I got the permission first.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And, after that, I prepared for the session. I did a survey using Qualtrics pre-survey. I think I should open them in order to be able to share them. Okay, so if you allow me, I'll stop sharing and reconnect. Here is the survey results. I asked 5 questions. If you can see my report. Who invented algebra? And most of them answered the correct answer. And the second question, what's your favorite subject in math? Most of them said algebra. And mathematics is used in life in a daily basis or at least your life. They agreed, 100%, 7 of them. How many percent do you think you use math in their daily life, like in their jobs? The majority said 60%. And do you agree that people whom jobs are based in engineering and maths receive the highest salaries? And they said yes. Some of them said maybe, of course. I'll stop sharing also, and just a second. Then a presentation using the technology introduced to us in this class in EDIT 624. I'm waiting for the PowerPoint to open in order to share it. Just a few seconds. Okay. Well, algebra PD session. So this is the presentation I prepared. I used some videos that Dr. Milda showed us, like this one is about a teacher who's talking about instructions in why math instructions is unnecessary, but in fact he said that as we discuss it in the PD session, their point of view that he meant that to say that math is important. And I use this video Just a second, please. My daughter came in, so. Okay. Well, can I just stop for a little bit?
Sure. Give it a little break when I'm actually saying Basma.
So, hi, Dr. Mona.
Okay, just
it's okay, Khalid, because I told my kids the same thing. Don't come into the room. I'm doing a presentation. And then the moment the Zoom came on, my son brought his iPad and sat right next to me. So, hi, Dr. Melda. How are you?
Good, good. Hi, Moza. Thank you for.
Hi, Moza.
Actually, Khalid just started presenting, so let's give him a little bit time, and he can resume.
Yes, I'm back.
You're good? All right. Thank you.
I can resume, please. I'm so sorry for the...
No, don't be sorry. I think it's perfect timing that Basma and Moza join the conversation, so that's perfect, actually. You have a full audience to start your presentation.
The second video, I found it in YouTube, and it's about 5 principles of extraordinary math teaching. And I added another video that were at the end, but I had to show it in the beginning of the PD session. It was about teaching elementary students the magic of math. So I mainly used 3 videos in the PD session. Most of them, Dr. Melda put them in the Google Classroom. And then I talked about one application, which is times table virtual reality activity, and it's in Google and also Google Play and also in the iTunes, I think, which is this time, and I let them. I brought my virtual reality glasses, which were given to me as a present from Dr. Milda and NYIT, and I let the audience to try this application. After that, I used 2 websites that were introduced to us by Dr. Milda in this course, which is Wolfram Alpha, as a link here, and I explained it to the audience of the PD session, and they liked it, as the results shown, because I did also survey after the PD session, which I'm gonna show it to you in a moment, and Khan Academy activity, and they questioned this program, some of the experts that were attending, and they used, why especially did you use Khan Academy? And there are a lot of programs, and how can we know that it's related to the curriculum or not? And I said it could be related to the US curriculum. And regarding Wolfram Alpha, they questioned also the way Wolfram Alpha retrieve data. They said that it could be from not official sources like Wikipedia, for example. And we discuss it in general, and then if I will stop share and show the results, please. Just a second. Is the attendance feedback? Okay. Share the screen. Here is, can you see my screen? Okay. There were around 11 attended this PD session, and 11 people attended this PD session, and you can see here the feedback. This is from, I think, I didn't let them write their names in order to feel free to say their notes. What did you learn from the PD session? and they said that they learned some tools and that could be used by teachers. Was the PD session productive? And they said yes. Not all of them. I have a lot of them, but I'm gonna just present the questions first. Did you enjoy the PD session? And here she replied yes. Do you have any improvement recommendation? And they have also. They proposed of PD. What will any? I uploaded everything in Blackboard, and as you see, here's another one. Around 7 of them fill the form. That math can be really fun subject. He learned or she learned, and all of them agreed that the PD session were productive. Did you enjoy the PD session? Why? Because I learned new stuff. Yeah, more activity. They needed more activity because I was letting them watching some videos like 10 minutes or plus long 3 videos, and they might felt kind of yeah. What did you learn here? Many of them gave me results and ways to improve. Here is another one, and here is the last one. And in general, this was my PD session results, and I didn't brought something new unless the times table virtual reality, which I bought it from iTunes, but almost everything I used in the PD session were from the videos and technologies that were introduced to us by Dr. Malda. Thank you so much for listening to me till the end, and if you have any questions, you're welcome.
All right, I do not have a question, but I truly agree with the discussions you had with the team about the validity of Wolfram Alpha. It pulls its resources from the internet only. So if the data is not given on the internet, it won't find it. So I agree with the dialogue that you had with the people. And also activities. Please, please, please. Never show people long videos and try to pick a section of the video or give them as a resource to watch the rest of it. So one thing you could create always is a website with all the resources before you do your PD session. And then you'll say, look, on this PD session, we're going to focus on 1, 2, 3. But most of the time, make the people talk to each other. It's a wonderful, wonderful PD, and I applaud you for all your efforts and bringing all these dialogue. And I'm really impressed with all your work, Khalid, so thank you. I am grateful to get to know you as an artist, as a mathematician, as a colleague. So hopefully we'll continue to collaborate and teach together. And if you need me to come to your PD sessions in the future, remember, I'm just a Zoom away.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much, Dr. Malda, and I appreciate everything you taught us and learned us, and we learned a lot from your class, really. Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. All right, Basma, do you want to take over?
Yes, do you want me to share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me just get my, where is it? Here it is. And then, can you see that?
Yep, I see it. Perfect.
Okay, so this is the website that I used as part of my PD. And what I did is I did PD in different forms and in different methods, but I put it all together in one large website. And what I want to do is this website is keep building upon it. So it's going to be a continuous PD for me. It won't stop, it won't end. Every time I do something new with my students or other teachers, or every time I'm interested in learning about something, I would post it up here. And so this will continue till my PhD and throughout my teaching career. So the first page is the home page, which I'm going to edit a little bit because now I have a new baby. So I wrote this ages ago, and so I'm going to add information and add pictures. The next page is the about page, which is about your class and what the purpose of this website is. Then the third page is the annotated bibliography, which is basically the discussion of what the topic is, the website it is, or the link it is, and then my opinion or my reflection on it. And it's got all of the resources that you asked us to look at, and then a few more. So we have learning menus, Wolfram Alpha, like Khalid did, visual literacy, some that really affected me, like the Morgan Freeman one about how big and small your universe is, and some activities that I did with concept maps and modeling and learning. And then if you go over here, there's one which is actually something I really liked, a lesson on using a website called How to Smile. And then if you click over here, you see the review of that activity as a screencast. It is a math and science activity. And I did this with another course. I amended it, of course, for here, but it's something I really enjoyed doing. So I put the website in and then my feedback on it. And then over here are websites that I enjoyed using, and then how these websites work with 21st century skills for our students, like collaboration and knowledge construction. When I did my survey before I did this PD, a lot of the teachers' comments, I'm still fixing the comments over here. Where are the comments? The comments are somewhere over here that I'm just trying to put together, but a lot of my comments show that 21st century skills isn't a big goal in HCT, in the college that I'm teaching in. And so teachers are trying to sneak in those skills in lesson planning, even though it's not required by our curriculum. And so I put this in there, Educations, Poplet, digital citizenship, which is the what was it called? The plagiarism and things like that. And then you have my video tutorials. And one of it is SurveyMonkey that I did for that presentation you talked to us about. Another one is using STEAM. The third one is the lesson plan for temperatures. And then this one over here is how to use these as part of your curriculum, but this is a bit different than what I showed you before. It's actually the technology with my comment and then my own voice explaining how to use this tool. And so there are a few of them over here. Oh, sorry, one second. I came onto that by mistake. Let me just go back. Okay, here it is. And so there's a tutorial and then there's a site. And these are my own tutorials, but as I move forward, if I find a tutorial that's already ready-made on YouTube that could be better than what I'm doing, I won't reinvent the wheel, I'll just use what's available. Here is my, and here is a Google Classroom, because one of the things on the survey that came back to me was that most teachers wanted to know how to use a Google Classroom and Google Docs. So I did a small tutorial on that. Then my PD outline. I noticed, Dr. Malde, you mentioned something about my plan. Can you tell me if this is what you were looking for? The sessions? Okay, perfect. So these are my, okay. So these are my sessions. First session, 30 minutes, we start off with a survey. Then I give them a break while I organize the data from the survey. Then, and I've used this plan I think 2 or 3 times before, but this is amended because of what I'm teaching now. But I liked it very much, and I think it works great. And depending on your feedback, I might amend it later for future PDs. Then we analyze and discuss results. We have hands-on workshops. Teachers get the resources. They're put in groups. They work with these resources. We do a Q&A session. And then their homework is to apply these resources in their own lessons. Then when we come back, we discuss it, we do our activities, we talk about it, And then they complete a feedback form to tell me how they felt. And finally, this is the continuous one, is the in-person sessions. You know how we meet other teachers, they pass by your cubicle and they say, oh, Basma, I use Shobi. I count that as a continuous workshop. So we talk about it, we get feedback, we engage in discourse, we talk to experts about it, and we continue to implement it. And then another thing I would ask the teachers to do is to ask students to complete a feedback form after they finished the lesson, to tell the teachers what they liked, what they didn't like, if it was difficult or easy. And that would help teachers plan their next lesson. And then finally, we have the resources. We have the ISTE Standard for Coaches that I want to keep here forever. And then here, this is something personal for me that I really like, is the Pick Me Up page. And basically, it has a few things that we did together and a couple of things that I enjoy doing in other courses where, no, these are actually mostly what we did for your class, but so I am going to add more. The mindset, growth mindset, why it's important for teaching math, and then this link for Wiki for 21st century learners, which I added there because of how little 21st century skills are being implemented in our teaching and learning. And then the very end is my contact. And then, of course, anybody who comes in here can leave me a comment and submit. And then, of course, I would amend based on that. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Basma. Thank you very much. It's a very well executed PD proposal. And one of the things I liked truly is that on the hallways, actually, you teach your faculty. So I truly agree with that. When I was a media director myself, I specifically went to lunch, not to eat the lunch, but meet my colleagues and share with them the latest technology resources. So I think—
I agree with that. We call that lunch PD. We actually sit there and start talking, and then before you realize it, you're sharing your experience with other people, and it becomes an hour-long PD.
And hi, Caitlin, welcome. We missed you last night, and thank you for joining this morning.
Sorry, I apologize. I had to change it last minute. I had a family emergency.
Oh, please wash your hands. All right, we will. I see it. Thank you so much for joining. As I was saying earlier about the PDs and lunch, it's very important that we don't mix it up with complaining about the students, because in America, we say the good teachers don't go to teacher lounges. I don't know if you had that talk, Caitlin, in America, because teachers who go to teacher's lounge to bash about students, it's not the good teaching model. You want to go to teacher's room or lunch to collaborate and talk about positive change in the schools. So that's what the difference between good schools and bad schools, in a sense, because when I visited many schools, the minute they blame, this is 2-3 things that I found the schools that's failing has a tendency. If they blame parents, if they say, oh, the parents are not involved, then I see that those teachers going to create some kind of disconnect from their own students, because they are judging the students' performance with the parents are not being involved. And the other one is they complain about the students who are ESL, who are people of color, who have attitudes, and so on. So I'm glad you're having lunch that's productive and positive change, not talking about criticizing everything. I mean, you're always welcome to, of course, criticize, but I think providing solutions is the key. Can I add one more resource to your list, Basma? This is a link. I'm going to send it to you because you care about the mindset, right? So this is the second big presentation. If you haven't come across the other word of the, in addition to mindset, we have another word called grit in America. And this presentation was well received. Angela Lee Duckworth, and she talked about grit. That is the power of passion and perseverance and how it really gets the kids to where they need to go. All right. Excellent points, excellent presentation, and please post the link, appropriate link to the right place so I can give your points on the Blackboard system. All right, Caitlin, if you're ready to present, you can take over the
Just hit
internet.
screen share, right?
And let me just have a little introduction. Caitlin was my student from Edit 695. Last night she couldn't attend, so she's joining us this morning. So Basman Khalid and Moza, she was here earlier, they are from Abu Dhabi. So you have an audience. You're lucky to have an audience this morning from overseas. And before they go too tired and sleepy, take it over.
Okay, just hit screen share, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Oh wait, share screen. Okay, there we go. Can you see my screen?
Yep, I do.
So I actually had so much fun making this. I recently tried out Google Sites. So they used to have 2 different versions. They started this new, like a totally new app where it was so simple. It was easy, like plug and chug. And I felt like it looked very clean, like that was what I was really hoping for. So another thing we've talked about is that I still have to take 2 classes after this. So some of the artifacts that were required were things that I'm like currently going to do right now. So for example, like in Foundations 2, we're doing a multicultural game project. We're doing accessible and assistive technologies. We're also doing, I'm just reading right off it. We're going to be doing UDL design, case studies. So all these things I hope I'm going to put back into my portfolio, because now even looking over these syllabus is like I see the cross, the crossover and where other things can basically fit. So basically I just kind of started off with, just an about me page, and I'm going to continue adding to it once I get to the end of my cohort, which will be at the end of July. But you simply just go over here to the right and you go to home, and I have my ISTE standards of evidence. So the first thing I just did was, especially for if I want to send this to my colleagues, I kind of just want to like throw out there, what is ISTE? So I kind of gave a little page of what it was, put in a little video that I looked up on YouTube. And then I also put in the website as well. I just wanted to keep it short and very brief, because I found that through, the semesters, that more than like, it's funny that you mentioned, complaining and doing all these different types of things. When I would be coming with different professional developments or asking people, they kind of just didn't want to be bothered. So I really tried to keep it very short and brief, especially for when I want to share it with my faculty. So my first standard of evidence, so again, I just kind of wrote what it was. Oh, whoops, sorry, hold on. One. So I have each of my artifacts with my rationale and reflections. So my first one, contributing to our journal that we created in the beginning of the semester, just talking about my theory, along with why I believe there should be technology in the classroom. Sorry, there's so many different things all over. So again, just saying, like, I actually had this debate with my colleagues on Friday. My colleagues are trying to establish a no cell phone policy within the classroom. And I feel like that's going completely against anything that I'm doing in this cohort. So I'm trying to defend it. And I really am the younger one by many, many years. A lot of them are getting towards their end of their retirement. And they just don't see a purpose in it. And, after even doing these professional developments, it's a little hard to accept that they're seeing that way. So even I even shared some of this with them, like, this is my vision. I'm not saying that technology is a necessity. It's more of something to add to help facilitate your instruction. And there's so many different things out there that we can possibly use. So then I have, so why integrate technology? Again, I use this with some of my colleagues, just because you really need to start from the basics. Like, why are we doing this? I mean, it's anything that you would do with a kid in class. Like, why do we need to learn about the solar system? You need to establish a foundation as to why it's important. And then hopefully people can make those direct connections to it. I did a drone proposal, which was awesome. unfortunately, it did not go through within my school. Apparently, it's a liability insurance issue, which a lot of us were a little bit sad about and a little bit confused. But we still went through the whole process. Myself and another science teacher were trying to ask around, going to different departments, like what could you use this for? Physics, science, we can talk about topography. So that was really cool, and it was like an interesting experience because I've never done a proposal before. Then for artifact D, the SAMR model, which we did a lot in Stan Silverman's class. We used different types of probes, veneer probes, and basically substituting, augmenting. And I think this really hit a lot with my colleagues because it's a slow transition rather than a quick, like you have to do this right here, right then, right now. So it's also taking like already a unit that you've already done and slowly transferring that into something, which I thought was a great tool that I shared with my colleagues. Hold on. I'm sorry, I'm in school. I'm like scared all the students are gonna walk in. So then my standard number 2, so this was my assessment tools. This was something I did with Professor Martinez. And let's take a few minutes. The Wi-Fi. Oh, okay. So this was basically, I determined an area of need. So recently this year, and this is what a lot of my
Caitlin, you're frozen from my end. Do you want to get out and come in again?
Me too. It's frozen from my end too.
Yeah, I think her school might have some internet issues. Basma, speaking of, were you taking ADIT 695 as well, right?
Yes, I am.
Would you be interested in presenting that portion of it for my record today as well, or do you want to present some other time?
No, I'd rather present. I can do tomorrow. It's basically the same thing. I just divided it differently.
But it's just for my record of having, because I cannot just combine you one student in 2 classes.
In 2 classes.
Yeah,
Well,
looking at,
after, hello, sorry, is my internet cutting? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Sorry, what were you saying?
So it's for the record of oral presentations that I need to submit for what do you call the accreditation purposes. I cannot just submit the same presentation twice. So I was wondering if you would like to present for 695. But for the other presentations, there's no morning, right? Is that why? Okay.
No.
Hold on one second.
Sure.
Yeah, I am actually a couple of students from 695 couldn't present today or any other day, but Saturday morning, which is evening time on Saturday. So if that's a good time.
Yeah, that's a great time.
Is that okay?
Yeah, this is for us to show even the paperwork that we did, right? Not just the...
So you could talk about your practicum experience, or you could talk about, you already showed
the actual sessions. Yeah.
But it works together, right? In 695, we also work with ISTE.
Yes.
So in that case, you can actually talk about only this time how practicum experience enriched you. And
perfect.
All right, I think Caitlin is starting to join us again. Hi, we lost you.
I don't know what just happened.
That's
I apologize.
No, we were just catching up with Basma, so it's perfect timing.
Okay. Okay, so you're on you can see my screen again, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. So the assessment tools was where I was meeting with different, basically different departments within my English department. Two different groups within the English department, talking about different formative and summative assessments that we can use. And we talked about things that they currently use, which like they did exit tickets. They use a lot of Google Classroom, like Google Docs. So then I basically introduced them into Socrative, which some of them loved it. Some of them were like, they used it one time and they couldn't be bothered. So it was kind of, it's a little disappointing when that happens. And I still try to encourage them, like, see if they're using it again. But I get the general consensus that a lot of people, like, especially with the end of the year, they just are focusing on what they need to do and catching up on what they need to do. But regardless, I was happy that some of them were more receptive. So then we talked about how the students liked it. Did they like it? Did they get good results? Did they get good data? And for the people who didn't enjoy it and who really used it, they thought it was amazing. The immediate results and feedback was great. So then I had a needs assessment concept map. So this is also what I did with Professor Martinez, and that was based off of Google Classroom. So we talked about the need for Google, like, is Google effective? And we've had this conversation. We have department meetings every Friday, and a lot of the teachers were just frustrated, like, what do we do? Do you use homework? How do you grade? Do you put everything in gradebook? And we were just trying to see, like, how can we all get on the same consensus of using it all this, not essentially all the same, but how are we using it as a collaborative learning environment? Because that's what it is, that is what it is called. So that was interesting, and getting to talk to people. STEAM was another thing, another professional development that I gave. So just talking about the benefits of it, sample lessons, and also the district initiative in Ardsley High School is moving towards STEAM and STEM. We just recently hired a STEM coordinator, but only in the elementary school. But we are in the process of creating a maker space in the high school. So that was interesting because a lot of the teachers had no idea what it even was or what it was even talking about. They just kept calling it like a new room. So that was interesting. The advocacy plan, which I also loved, again, and this was prior to implementing the maker space. So why do we need it and how can we implement it? So I worked a lot with our technology director, my assistant superintendent, as well as one of the other teachers who teaches like computer science. And we talked about, like, why should we be advocating for this? So we pulled out, like, the budget, and I put it in slides being like, do you think that this is something that we need? Is this something that we're moving towards? So again, a lot of the stuff that I did was like good conversations and eye openers for a lot of my colleagues. Like, I was like, this is where everything is going, and I know everything's changing a lot. And it's hard to kind of stay up to date. And that's what I felt like I was there for, constantly giving them, like, the new, which was great. My artifact number 9 was one of my tech bites. So that was Kahoot. I did that with my science department as well, and they loved that. And a lot of the Kahoot is used within our foreign language department. So they were familiar with it. I wanted to go somewhere where it completely wasn't. So they loved it, and they thought it was good. Artifact number 10, I really enjoyed this project. I did this with Mrs. O'Hara. It was a multimedia literacy project where we basically took a video and we made different pictures for a video based for struggling readers. So we did some research behind what works or what strategies work for struggling readers and how can we help them with that. So that was great. Another type of assessment tools. So I used, again, the English department. I think this one was an optional submission, but again, it still showed that I was using it, for formative and summative assessments, and continually assessing the student learning. So Socrative is live, it can be ongoing. So I still thought it was a great tool. This one, the integrating technology resources. So I did Kahoot, I showed Edmodo, and I also showed Glogster. Again, Kahoot, they were a little bit more familiar with. Glogster and Edmodo, especially as a non-tenure teacher, things like that. Even though I'm showing a lot of these, I've been advised by many people not to use them as a non-tenure teacher and stick with district policy, which is, again, it's a bump in the road, but I'm hoping that as time goes on that, they'll take my ideas and kind of latch onto them. And again, there'll probably be something new after that, but regardless, I have that background. And I can bounce off ideas within my technology committee at Ardsley. My standard 3, again, more technology integration. So this was, let me just pull it up. My Keystone project. So this is what I had taken 3 students last year at the end of the year and had them basically read a Cornell article about basically a social norm, like a homeless man having a heart attack versus a regular man having a heart attack. And with that article, I had them use different tools. So I had them use Bubble, where they created a graphic concept map. I had them use Padlet. And then the other one I had them use, the first one, I'm sorry, Jing. So I had them talk about it. I had them use Padlet, where we were all writing back and forth to one another. And then I had Bubble, which was basically their own representation of it, which was great. It turned out phenomenal. And they enjoyed the article because there was a lot of conversation to be talked about. So that worked really well, especially with those 3 different tools. My web resources project, that was just something I did with Kate Bruce, where we came up with about 10 different resources and a description of it, what standards does it address, what grade levels can you use it for. And again, this is just something that you can just share with your colleagues, because maybe it's something like this was more focused to math. So I could send this to the math department being like, listen, if you haven't heard about these resources, here are 10 new ones, which is great. Then I have my GAF professional development. This was a huge project. And again, a lot, like I mentioned before, a lot of it is centered around Google Classroom. This was in the beginning of this year, especially when we first implemented Google Classroom. We had 2 days essentially where the director of technology and I basically split up some professional development. And in creating this, I mean, this thing was like 200 slides, because you could just go on about Google Forms, the extensions, the add-ons. So this was awesome. It was a great experience. Also a little bit frustrating because, we realized doing a professional development with something brand new, you have to kind of individually work with people. And, with the constraint of time, you could see why some problems may arise. So that was good, coaching the teachers. Dragon Speak, that was just one of the tools that we use within my school. That's one of the assistive technologies within the special ed department. I actually, Ardsley is known as a special ed school district. So this is just one of the tools that we use. And a lot of the kids do use it, and the special educators kind of I didn't really know much about it beforehand. And again, this is probably something that I will even be learning more about with Foundations too. But it was a good conversation, especially with my my colleagues within special ed, because I didn't know it even existed, which was great. My Artifact 17, so Smartboard. Smartboard is a huge problem in the school. We're constantly working with our tech guys, and I was like, how would I just create basically a template of common problems that I'm seeing, not only with myself, but with my other colleagues, and send it out as a way to they can quickly do it rather than waiting for the tech guys, because it typically takes a day or two, when typically, you want those problems fixed right then and there, especially if you're using it for your instruction. So that was something I sent out. Another Google Classroom PD, this was also something, it was I've cut them all into different sections, whether it's focused on Google Forms, whether it's everything, whether it's talking about how we're using it as a collaboration tool. And then last, G, Remind that was something that I wanted to use last year. And again, I was basically told by my colleagues, you cannot establish that. It's, we have something already set with district policy that we use Google Classroom for communication between our parents and our students. But the year prior, when I was in student teaching, we used it. My teacher and I used it, which was great. And I loved it. And I hope to use it sometime in the near future.
Thanks so much. You don't have to go through all your evidences.
Oh, I don't. Okay. I'm sorry for talking too much.
No. You could just pick maybe one more that you are dying to share.
Okay. Let me pull. Oh, I'll choose this one. So, because it's related to MIT. So I went to the Speedy Tech Conference last year, and it was saying engage in continual learning and deepen your knowledge. That opened my eyes to so many different things I took. And this is basically my anecdotal notes from the conference. And I loved everything about it, like the coding, Pear Deck. There were so many great presentations. And that I wanted to just share, because I was like, I do try to go to the things at MIT and see what my colleagues and my professors are doing, because, we all work hard getting our degrees and making all these different types of tools and resources.
Thank you. I really appreciate you attending that conference and telling us that it was a good conference for you. we would like to continue this conference every semester. So thank you. I think that's one of the good feedback that kept us doing the speed tech. And this year we had a speed tech, and actually Khalid came and presented from Abu Dhabi twice, on Friday and Saturday. And Basma sent her screencast. So it was always a wonderful opportunity to learn from each other. And I hope next time we'll do it, you'll come and present more. And also congratulations, is that you had a honeymoon, as I recall, right? You just came back from a trip or something like you.
I was I went away. My sister just moved to Nashville, so.
Perfect. So welcome back, and thank you for all your great work. Even though you didn't take several courses prior to this course, you really worked hard to complete as much as you can. And if you have any discrepancy with points or your projects not being assessed, you all know that you can contact me through email, and I will be available every morning starting now till Saturday. So if you need to catch me, I'm having office hours, and then in the evening time, people are continuing to their presentations.
Okay,
all right, I'm going to stop the recording so we can have free discussions, because I was waiting for Jashri. Let me just double check on her attendance. I think she may be still stuck in her, before I close it, let me just check. Yeah, she should be here by now then, so maybe I shouldn't stop it. All right, if you have anything off the record, you can, maybe we can just stop recording for the